Hi, this is Nathan Markley, and this is the Nathan Markley Show podcast. This show originally aired on WNRI 1380 AM and 99.9 FM on Friday, July 17th, 2026. This is Season 3, Episode 18. Enjoy! Hey everyone, for this episode, I forgot to push the record button right before I went live. I realized it 10-15 minutes into the show, so that's when the recording started. We didn't miss too much. I was kind of giving an introduction about Windows 10 and the extended support updates, where Microsoft is extending their support for security updates for Windows 10 another year in October 2027, as you're going to hear in the rest of this recording on the show. Hope you guys enjoy it, and I will talk to you all next week. Bye.
Yeah! Friday night! WNRI! Winding down slow, radio on, like he's riding shotgun all night long. Me and Nathan, that same old voice, stories rolling, easy choice. I'm staying in for the Nathan Markley Show every Friday night on my radio. From WNRI, yeah, the signal rolls through the walls down to my soul. I'm staying in for the Nathan Markley Show. Let the whole town drive, I'll let 'em go. I'll be right here where the stories flow. Tuned in time to the Nathan Markley Show.
Hey, Nate. So
Yeah, I know. I forgot to hit the record button.
it's okay.
Oh, no. Okay, I have to go back and redo that later.
We're on the air.
Yep, yeah, but that's okay. Mistakes happen. What was I? Oh, yeah. So, enrolling into the ESU. So, when you hit enroll button in the Windows updates and settings, it will ask you to sign into a Microsoft account. And by doing that, you sync your PC settings to that. And if you sync your PC settings and get a new device and you log into your Microsoft account, those settings will go over to your new PC, which is a good idea. And also won't cost any money to enroll into the extended service updates program, which gives you access to crucial and important security updates through Microsoft, but not like future updates. But which is a good idea. It helps you reduce the risk of malware and cybersecurity attacks that can come with an unupdated, vulnerable PC. I actually done this for 2 people so far, and I haven't seen anyone pay the money for this program. I never heard of anyone paying for the Windows 10 ESU.
How'd they get around that?
Just by syncing their PC settings with the Microsoft account. So, Microsoft is extending it for another year, which is great. Now we have it to October 12th, 2027 to update to Windows 11 or get a new PC with Windows 11 on it. And, I think it's an interesting thing, a good thing.
Now, what if someone... How will they know if they need to extend it? Like, they had to have purchased it first?
No.
And then they'll be... they'll get a message out. Like, let's say it was the ones that 2 you did that didn't have to pay. Will they ever get a warning?
No, so you don't have to do anything. If you're already enrolled in the program, you don't have to do anything. You'll just continue.
So they're taking a chance. If they don't even do this upgrade, ESU, it's just like rolling the dice. Something may not happen.
If they don't enroll in the Extended Security Updates Program, ESU, they're taking a chance of a threat actor, a hacker, getting into the system. Because there may be a security vulnerability that Windows didn't update yet, and that they may not apply to their PC.
So that's my question. So if they didn't upgrade, will they know? Well, they won't know until something happens to the computer. Now, but my other half of that question is, if they did upgrade, whether or not they paid for it, will there be warnings because they upgraded that say, hey, there's a threat or someone's trying to hack in? Like, is there a benefit to upgrading that will let you know that you actually were protected? Or is it just behind the scenes protection they'll never know happened?
So you would know if the protected because you get a message that there's an update, a Windows 10 security update if you enrolled in the program.
But let's say you did enroll.
Oh, if you did,
then
then you won't get no updates. You won't get no updates will come to your PC because you won't be in the list of computers that Microsoft has that's in the program.
No.
So
I said, what if you did enroll?
You get a notification.
Okay,
like a normal Windows update notification.
Okay, other than that, let's say you had it, you got an update that you were updated, right? You have extended. 2 months later, there's a threat. Someone tries to hack into your computer. Do you know if that software that you have and will say, hey, we prevented a hacking? Like, well,
So-
how do you know that what you paid for or have updated actually got used if it was ever used?
So one, it's not really the software you're paying for. It's just a program you're rolling into to continue receiving security updates from Microsoft. And you will know by that no one will.
Okay.
Those updates got applied
Understand.
to your computer.
I wonder how many people, maybe have said, "Oh, I did upgrade and I had a threat prevented," because the upgrade just assures you as the computer owner that you'll be getting software updates or protection updates, but you don't really know if it actually was put to use.
You would know if you keep receiving Windows 10 updates.
All right.
Because otherwise you won't get Microsoft won't push out those updates to your computer.
I wonder if there's any computers or versions of software of Windows 10 that are obsolete that can't be updated, maybe because they were early versions that would.
Yeah, those probably computers. I hope they're not in production now, but there probably is. If they're using those computers, they're probably not connected to the internet.
Okay.
That's another way to protect yourself is just don't connect to the internet. Because if you're not connected to the internet, no one can get in. Only you have local access.
Oh, yeah, that's. But some people may just have a computer and a phone. That's it, and they need access for both.
Yeah. So to recap, Microsoft is extending Windows 10 support for another year to October 12th, 2027. If you enroll in the Consumer Extended Security Updates program. And the version of devices that are eligible to get enrolled in ESU, Windows 10 version 22H2 Home, Professional, Pro, Education, and Workstation Edition. Devices need to have the latest Windows Update installed, which is 22H2. And it's recommended that you use a Microsoft account to sign in to enroll into ESU so you don't have to pay the $30, which is a one-time fee to get enrolled. If you're already enrolled in ESU, you don't have to do anything. It's automatically extended to that another year. And then I think maybe for a show 1 week I'll talk about Linux because I do want to talk more about that and why it's a good idea to use Linux on older hardware to extend the life, because even though your computer is 8 years old, it still has a lot of use for it. You can do a lot with it. It's just the operating system's end of life, or maybe the operating system can really make your computer slow, and switching to a different operating system can help bring that computer back to life.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Is there an alternative to, and here's a scenario I'm thinking of. So let's say I don't want to do the ESU, Microsoft product ESU, right? Could I still do you think like the Norton antivirus and those other companies have products similar to ESU that can be used on Windows 10 and still get updates or protect your computer? Or is Windows not allowing Norton and other companies to actually get the updates to sell? You know what I'm saying? Like it's like another provider other than Microsoft to protect your computer.
I think the anti-malware, the anti-malware software like Norton or was it WebRoot, even Microsoft has their own anti-malware.
Isn't it like
Defender.
a Firefox or something?
No, that's the internet browser.
That's the browser name.
I think those will probably still get updated because it's another way. Like as long as they know the malware definitions that's out there to protect it. Windows 10 update, the Windows updates more like paths like holes into the system to get that they can get in other ways. But yeah, I mean it's I don't know. I think eventually those companies will tell you that hey, you're using an out of date operating system and probably recommend you to update because that will help help you protect yourself from things.
I'm just thinking of the other companies that want to still continue to sell you a product to make money that can protect Windows 10 users or the
True, but I mean,
using it.
At some point, it doesn't make sense for them to update it. A lot of people go over to Windows 11 or the new operating system.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of in the future, a lot of computers being either recycled or people are going to sell them inexpensively and people will buy them and upgrade them to Windows 11 and resell them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could there be a market for that?
Yes.
A small business for that.
Yeah. All right. So it's 6:27 now. Let's take a ad break, and when we come back, we will jump into Ask a Mechanic. The Nathan Markley Show, WNRI.
Accidents happen, but choosing the right repair shop makes all the difference. For over 45 years, Hillview Auto Body in Johnston has been the name Rhode Islanders trust. Established in 1980, a Gold Class certified and Class A body shop, we've invested in the highest level of training and technology to ensure your vehicle is repaired to the strictest industry standards, and we've built our reputation on quality craftsmanship, honest service, and getting the job done right, the first time. From minor dents to major collision repairs, our expert technicians handle it all. We handle most of the claim process to make the repair process smooth and stress-free from start to finish. At Hillview Auto Body, your car isn't just another job, it's treated like our own. So when life throws you a bump in the road, trust the team that's been fixing them for decades. Hillview Auto Body, Johnston, Rhode Island. Quality you can see, service you can trust.
You're listening to the Nathan Markley Show on WNRI, 1380 AM and 99.9 FM, or online at WNRI.com and on TuneIn Radio. 401-766-1380, 401-769-0600, or 1-800-949-9674 is the phone number to call. That is 401-766-1380, 401-769-0600, or 1-800-949-9674. So, Dad, do we have a trivia question?
Yes, we do. I'm glad you asked. So, this week's trivia question, there was a late 60s movie that was released in the late 60s, and it had as one star of the movie a Volkswagen Beetle. So, again, I have a two-part question as far as what our trivia question is. And the first part, if you could call in and let us know the name of the movie, or the title of the movie, and what the racing number of that vehicle was. This vehicle had a number on the side of it, like a race car would. And if you want some more bragging rights, there's a bonus question for the same subject. What was the nickname for that vehicle? So again, what was the name of the movie? What was the number on the side of the vehicle? It was on the left and right hand side. And what was the nickname for that vehicle?
And this is a 1960s movie?
It was a late 60s is when the movie was released. I don't want to give away the year, tell you the year, because that will narrow down search if you're searching. But you may know it off the top of your head because you remember that movie. And as an extra hint, there's been other sequels produced throughout the years from late 60s to we'll say current day of different sequels of the same title. Okay?
Right. I think I know what it is, but we'll wait.
Don't say it. You can say it at the end if no one calls in, but let our listeners know our phone number. Ask them to call in, and again, please call in if you have any automotive-related question or you want any assistance or questions, answers to questions you have automotive-related.
Yes.
We welcome any and all call-ins.
So if you know the answer to the trivia questions, give us a call at 401-766-1380, 401-769-0600, or 1-800-949-9674. All right.
So one thing I want to add, I want to mention.
Fast, actually, we got a call.
Already?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have been too easy. Let's take the call.
Let's take it. All right. So we hit this button. Hello, caller. You're live on the air.
Hello.
I'm actually not calling for the trivia question, but I'll take a stab at it.
Go ahead.
All right. It has to be something about Herbie the Love Bug. And I'm going to take a guess of number 68 on the side. I don't know. I was a kid when I seen the movie. I'm not a cheater. I don't use a fancy phone to answer trivia.
Well, I applaud that. Thank you. It's excellent. You're excellent because it was Herbie was the nickname. The title was The Love Bug. And you mentioned 68 as a number. The number was actually 53, and it's been the same number on all of the vehicles in the sequels. But 68 is when the movie was released, so you're right on target. You hit the nail on the head with that one. That's awesome.
Close enough to get a kill.
That's
so
awesome.
What's the reason it was 53? Since we're on there, what was the story behind the number selection?
Oh, now you're testing me. I have no idea.
There's got to be something behind it, because like Hot Wheels cars has a 68 on the side.
You know what?
When Hot Wheels started.
No, I will have an answer for you. I'll research that and have an answer next week. Thank you.
Okay, but the reason I called wasn't for the trivia.
Yes.
And if there's a short answer, now mind you, I'm not a mechanic. However, I am interested in machines of all kinds. And I was wondering why they stopped making the Mazda RX-7 and why they stopped making the Volkswagen Scirocco, which were two great cars.
I honestly don't.
Was it because of the engine style? Was it because of rotary engine? Why did they stop the rotary engines? Rotary engines never broke down.
I know.
Why'd they stop doing that?
I don't know if they. I don't know. I can't speak specifically to those two models. Why they decided to not produce them anymore. It could be many reasons, right? It could be financial. It could be they want to replace the production line. Capacity to another model that they were going to release. But I'll try and research that. So that was the Scirocco, right?
Yeah, Volkswagen Scirocco
and the RX-7.
And the Mazda RX-7. I know the RX-7 had a rotary engine.
Yes.
I know that the rotary engine had very few pieces and never broke down, but when it broke down, you had a real pain in the neck to deal with. I'm thinking that maybe the technology was accidentally released and they wanted to just call that back. Because we all know about the carburetors and all the other technology that they buy the patents for, and they keep the technology from the people.
Correct.
We all know about that.
Correct. And I do know that the Rotary, I was not involved, but I was aware of the Rotary when I was growing up and knew that there were 2 and 3 rotor engines, and each rotor would have 3 sides to it, and there would be 3 little reliefs on each side that would cut like a combustion chamber. So in one full rotation, it could fire 3 times, and it'd be like, say, 3 cylinders, right? And it was a very efficient engine, and it made a lot of power for its size and weight. I know that they're very popular still today with some enthusiasts. They're still out there. As a matter of fact, about 7-8 months ago, I was stopping for fuel at a gas station in Attleboro, and I saw this nice RX-7 next to me on the pump next to me, and I said, I commented on the vehicle, and the guy was, generous enough to give me a little bit of time. We spent about 15 minutes. He showed me under the hood. He talked about how he modifies the engine, and he has another vehicle like that. So it's still a valid engine for the racing community, and a lot of enthusiasts and followers that are still involved in it. Now the Scirocco, I know that was when it was introduced, it was very well received, and people liked the style of it. It
It kind of
was,
looks like a DeLorean to a point.
yeah, and it was comparatively fast to other vehicles, so it had a good power to weight ratio. But I'll have to research that because when you call in, and my next segment I'm going to talk about, when people call in and I don't know something, it just sparks my interest to learn more about it because that's the kind of person I am. So those are great questions.
Yeah.
Great questions.
That's a great way to be. And before I go, I just wanted to ask you, or at least tell you, over the air TV, if you have an antenna, on PBS they were running a special about the history of motorsports, but it was about more than motorsports, if you know what I mean. It was more about everything, the whole entire history of engines. It was incredible. If you get a chance to catch it on the over-the-air TV, it was on PBS. You should check it out, man.
I will. So was that recently?
It was recently.
Was that one documentary or a series of shows?
It was one, but it was like a very long one. It was like 2 hours. I could be mistaken. It could have been on the History Channel.
Okay.
But it was recent, so I don't know the name of it. I'm sorry. And I actually wound up watching it by accident, and it riveted me. I was glued, and I'm not a mechanic, and I was glued to the documentary.
Yeah,
the whole time. It was riveting. It was so knowledgeable and riveting. It was just amazing. It got into the politics of the government getting into the engineering of how machines are made and telling you what you can and can't do. They touched on that too. It was insane.
Wow. Well, I can appreciate that in the same way. And now that you brought that up about the government, if you ever have a chance to take it out of the library or buy the book, it's called Further, Faster, and Farther. It's about the Volkswagen Dieselgate incident. Remember when Volkswagen claimed?
Yes.
And that one, you don't have to be an automotive enthusiast or a technician or mechanic or mechanically inclined, so to speak, because it talks about the history of Porsche. It talks about how they knew there was an issue. They deliberately had the software manipulated by their vendors. Right? Bosch, I'll put the name out there because it's in print. But if you can get that book and read it, I read that book in 2 nights. I was traveling for work, and at the hotels, I was right once I started reading that book, I completed it in 2 nights reading it. It's such a fascinating book.
What? Faster, further, what?
I'll look it up right now, and if you give me a second.
Faster, further. That was the title. Faster, further, and what else? It was 3 Fs.
It was three Fs. Give me 1 second. I'll look it up real quick. It was about Dieselgate. Let me see.
Okay, I'll just type in Dieselgate faster, farther. It'll bring me to it. I'll check that out. I'm serious. I'm going to check that out over the weekend. I got time. I got some time this weekend for that.
Yeah, I'm sure you will read it quickly like I did because you couldn't put it down. And I hate to say that cliche, but you really couldn't. You can't. It's so fascinating because it's not just about.
It's about everything.
Well, it's about what I'm trying to say is it was about how these students, they were postgraduate students at this college in West Virginia, automotive college. They were getting degrees. That college was tasked and being paid by the California Air Resources Board to learn more about emissions, and that's how they discovered it. They said, "Wow, how come when we drive this car on the dynamometer, it tests clean? There's very few particulate emissions coming out of the exhaust, right? And when we drive it on the road with the mobile exhaust analyzer in the back of the vehicle powered by a generator, it's polluting like crazy." They couldn't figure it out, and then they realized it was a software. It was built into the software so that the software recognized when a vehicle was going in for an emissions test, and there was the cable was plugged into the DLC, the diagnostic link connector, or that connector under the dash that all vehicles have, made after 1996.
Right.
Bosch and Volkswagen wrote into the software when it sees that plug something's plugged into that connector, and it goes through this certain drive cycle that the test protocol required, it would change and make the EGR system work effectively. When those parameters weren't met, which meant it wasn't being tested as a emissions test, and it was on the road, it would pollute a lot more. And the reason that Volkswagen did that was because when they were trying to restrict the engines, when they had to meet the emissions out, or the engine's output for emissions, they had to cut back on the power. So to make the car a little more powerful, they made it pollute more. And that's why they had their marketing scheme saying, oh, this is a clean diesel. But a lot of people know, that are in the know, that diesels produce particulate emissions. That's why there's the exhaust systems on there right now that will burn off these particulates. But they didn't want to have that added expense.
I believe that because the stuff I was watching had stuff to do with emissions too. They're tricky, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Man.
So I just looked up the book.
You can't trust anybody. Just buy American. Build it here, buy it here. That's what I say.
You found the title,
Put a
Nathan?
440 in there. Put a 440 in there.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
I just,
Yeah.
so
Or a
I just
six-pack.
looked up the book, and the name of
That's
the
right.
book is
God bless you, sir.
Hey, he's
I
got
take
the
up
name.
all your time.
Hang on, Nathan has the name. Hold on.
Okay.
So
The
the
title.
name of the book is Faster, Higher, Farther, How One of the World's Largest Automakers Committed a Massive
Faster,
Stunning
Higher, Farther.
Ford. Yeah. Faster, Higher, Farther.
Right.
Yep,
It's
I got it. Faster, higher, farther.
Yep. And it's by Jack Orman.
Yep.
Yeah, I just want to let you know before I leave off the air, I've been listening to you guys for about a month now. This is just my first time calling in. I think you guys have a good show.
I appreciate
just hope
that.
more people call in. A lot of people listen but won't call in, you know.
Awesome. What's your name? First
My
name.
name is Mark Townsend. Mark. You can call me Mark.
All right, nice.
Yeah.
Appreciate you calling in, Mark. It's great
Yes.
talking to you.
God bless you and your son. Have a great weekend.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
You too.
You
Thank
too.
you.
All right, bye.
Thank you. Yeah, and Mark, thank you for listening and calling in. So we're gonna take another ad break, and when we come back, we do have an email message that I want to get to.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so
And I get some follow-up on last
follow-up.
week also.
Oh yes, we have follow-up from that. You're listening to the Nathan Markley Show, WNRI.
If you or anyone that you know would like to buy or sell a property, Lydia Smith, a realtor with the Century 21 Stachurski agency, would like to chat with you. Lydia has over 15 years of experience in the real estate profession and is well known for her professionalism. She has sold many properties over the years as a professional realtor and is well respected due to her experience in and knowledge of the Northern Rhode Island real estate market. You will be pleased by her quick response, her attention to detail, and her remarkably high level of integrity. Having purchased 2 homes and selling another myself, I can appreciate Lydia's knowledge, success, and professionalism as a trusted realtor. You can reach Lydia by calling her at 401-808-0430. Lydia promises a quick response to your call. Again, call Lydia Smith, professional realtor, at 401-808-0430 for your property buying or selling needs.
401-766-1380, 401-769-0600, or 1-800-949-9674 is the phone number to call. So, Dad, you said you have a follow-up to the trivia question from last week's caller.
Right,
That's
but
she asked
first
you.
I want to say, Nathan, I'm impressed that Mark didn't need to look that up. He obviously definitely knew the information right off the top of his head, because I know that because he called in so quickly and knew the answer. But that's great. That makes me happy. So last week, one of the things I talked about was a recall where the bushing that would hold the shifter cable to the selector shaft was corroding or cracking, deteriorating, and it would not let the vehicle go into park or the transmission be placed into park, even though the shifter was in park. And we had a caller who called in, and she told me that in the late 50s, there was a Pontiac with the same type of recall, right? So again, she piqued my interest, and I wanted to learn more about that. So when I did my research last weekend, it turns out that, which I didn't know this, I knew that Hydra-Matic, that was like a brand name for General Motors' automatic transmission, and GM was one of the first companies to introduce a automatic transmission to the motoring public. And the early Hydra-Matic, that name's been around for a long time, and it's been 2-speed, 3-speed, 4-speed, etc. and it was front wheel drive and rear wheel drive configurations. But back in the late 50s, the Hydra-Matic didn't have a park position, and it was susceptible to rolling, just exactly like she said. And the reason is that even though the shifter was put into park, there was no park position in the transmission. It was actually put into reverse, and when the engine was off, and when it was in reverse, that would initiate a parking-like feature. Now, I tried to dig in more and see what that mechanically it looked like or how it was designed, but I couldn't find that online yet. And she was absolutely correct that those vehicles could roll even though they were put into park if the parking brake wasn't used or adjusted properly, or if there was another malfunction in that transmission.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is, because it didn't have they didn't build it with a park type locking feature like newer vehicles have. So again, I'm learning more and more from our callers every week.
Yes. Our callers, our listeners and callers are great. If you want to call in to say hi, you have a question or a comment, you can call in at 401-766-1380 or 401-769-0600 or 1-800-949-9674. So, Dad, the email that we got in...
Yeah.
Oh, do you have something else?
No.
Okay.
What was it?
It comes in from Paul from Lincoln.
Okay.
Asked, I am going to install a different radio in my car that has a Bluetooth feature to connect to my phone so I can listen to my saved music. Any hints or cautions that could help me install it to prevent any problems? My car is kind of old. It is a 1998 Ford Taurus. Thanks.
So he's going to install a radio, and he wants some hints or...
Yeah, it's a
hints or
Bluetooth
what?
radio in his 1998 Ford Taurus, which is a great car, by the way. I had a 2000 Ford Taurus when I was younger.
I had two Tauruses way back.
But yeah, he wants to know if there's any hints or cautions I should be aware of in installing a new radio into his old car.
All right, so when he says new, I assume he means like a new, but it'll be different than what he's taken out.
I'm guessing it probably has a factory installed radio that doesn't have Bluetooth because it's from 1998, and he wants to put one for like Best Buy or something.
Oh yeah, okay, I understand. So Paul, if you're listening, there are some things you have to do. I swapped out at least 5 to 6 radios in my time with different vehicles or for customers at work. And when if you purchase that radio first and have not installed it yet, check whoever you bought it from, or the supplier or the manufacturer of that aftermarket radio with the Bluetooth, and see if they sell a kit that you can buy separately typically, that will support an easily installation in that vehicle. So you just look up online and say, I have this radio on their website. Do you have a kit to put it into this, what was it, 98 Ford Taurus? And the kit typically will come with any additional bracket or a reducing type faceplate that'll fit that radio to the actual hole that the hole in the dash that the old one came out of, or the original one came out of. Mm-hmm. And the kit usually includes these connector or jumper harnesses that connects the connectors on the back of the new radio to the existing factory harness connectors, because they're not always the same connector, and you have to cut the connector off the harness on the vehicle that will connect to the old radio, and typically you would solder the wires and use the schematic that came with the new radio, but you would need to know what color wires on the car from the cut connector would match, like speaker left front positive, speaker left front negative, and so on for the other speakers, which is the power, which one is the keep alive memory for the clock. So if you buy a kit that has those jumper harnesses, those wires are in the proper cavity in the connectors, and they just click the connectors together. One thing that makes the job easier is the faceplate of the existing dashboard there's typically clips behind it that you can't see, and might be a removal or clip depressing tool that you can buy inexpensively, and get those panels off very easily before you remove the old one without breaking those plastic panels. And some other things that I've learned in the past the hard way are, you have a radio and you have to cut the wires. If you cut the wires to connect because you don't have the jumper harnesses that you can purchase, you have to make sure that there's no sharp metal brackets in the dashboard in that area of where the radio goes, because when you push everything back together in and bolt down the radio to the dashboard, you don't want any of those wires, due to vibration and running of the vehicle, that can rub and chafe and cut through the insulation on any sharp metal. So insulate them with tape, maybe take some thin foam and put it on the metal.
So do you disconnect the battery from the underneath the hood before you install the radio?
Well,
cut those
my
wires?
professional opinion, no, you don't have to, because as long as when the ignition is off, and the key removed, because it's a 98, it has a key, that circuit will be, the power circuit won't have power because it's usually a switched power from the ignition. Now, there'll be a keep alive memory or one wire. Most cars, I'm not going to say most, but every wire has, a color insulation. And a lot of times I found that the keep alive is either orange or yellow from the manufacturer. But that one will be live with the ignition off. So if you cut it flush and don't strip the insulation off the wire and have some strands sticking out, it probably won't show it out anywhere. Now, it's a good practice to disconnect the battery during the electrical work, but there are memories called keep alive memories for like memory seats, adaptives for the transmission shift points, and maybe if you have a power steering wheel where you can adjust the position, you may lose that memory. So you may cause a couple more problems or have to relearn, power windows, power seats, etc. memories. That would be extra time. Now, if you know what they are and you know how to reset them and it's your vehicle, no big deal.
Yeah.
But if you're doing this for, a professional, as a professional for another customer, you don't want to upset their adapters and change them.
Yeah.
But
I wonder if there's a way that you can save those memory settings, like a computer. You can save settings and back them to a file, like a flash drive, and reinstall that once you make those changes in the car.
Most older vehicles you can't, because they're on an EEPROM, electronically or double EEPROM, electronically erasable, and once it loses power, it erases it. When I say the settings, they're not like newer type settings where they're choices and you program it in. Yeah. It's just that it's saved in the memory.
Yeah.
Let's see. Other than that, so proper tools to remove the panel without breaking it. If you need, you could have solder and a soldering iron handy, some electrical tape.
Yep.
You may need a way to identify the power wires on the original harness if you're not using the jumper connectors. So you would need a test light, a 12-volt test light, or a digital multimeter that can measure volts, voltage. One tip, if you cut those wires and not sure because you don't have a schematic which wire is the positive and negative for each of the 4 speakers, you could use a, the AA battery or 9-volt battery, and you would, if you put the 2 wires, the positive and negative, onto either terminal of the battery, and you could see in the speaker grill with a flashlight, if the speaker moves up or out of the speaker, the actual diaphragm, you would know that you have the positive wire on the positive terminal of the battery. And you want to make sure that that positive wire goes to the positive wire for that speaker on the new radio's harness.
Okay. Cool, awesome.
Well, I'm sure, Paul, if you need any instructions, you can find all this online or YouTube nowadays.
Yeah, and hopefully that was helpful, Paul, too. We're going to take another quick ad break.
Okay,
and when we come
thank
back,
you, Paul.
We'll finish up the show. The Nathan Markley Show, WNRI. Thanks for listening to this show. As an ad-supported show, we are always looking for new partners with products and services that will benefit our audience. Are you ready to grow your business? Reach out to nathanmarkley.net/advertise and launch your campaign now. You're listening to the Nathan Markley Show on WNRI 1380 AM and 99.9 FM, or online at WNRI.com and TuneIn Radio. So, Dad, do you have anything else you'd like to say? We have about 3 minutes left.
No, but I was thinking of earlier today, content for some upcoming, Ask the Mechanic sessions. And one of them that I want to talk about, just because I find it interesting, is maybe someone else hasn't thought about this, but newer cars today, many of them can tell you through a message on the dashboard or in your driver information center if a bulb is out, like a taillight bulb, a turn signal bulb, and the technology that can pick up and determine that the circuit has a problem or the bulb is burnt out is fascinating. I wanted to share that with our listeners in the future, so maybe that's something we can talk about in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of bulbs now are LEDs. So I'll add into, when I talk about it, how LEDs can affect that, not affect it, but how it makes it easier for the vehicle to understand when a bulb is out. But LEDs don't burn out as often, or open circuit as much as the old incandescent bulbs did.
Yeah.
So it's catch-22.
That'll be a great topic for next week because we are coming up to the time. All right, everyone. We're coming up to the end of the show this week. Thank you all for listening this Friday night. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate being here. If you miss any part of the show or want to listen back, you can catch the replay on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. Thank you all for spending your Friday evening with me, and we'll talk to you all next week. Have a great night with Eileen. Bye, everyone.
Good night.
Another Friday in the books, laugh lines running through the show. You've been riding every turn through the highs and the low. We're closing out the Nathan Markley Show. Thank you for the time you chose. Same place, same dial, See you next week on WNRI. Show on WNRI. It's the Nathan Markley Show on WNRI.